Hello and welcome to this sixth meditation in the series that is inspired by nativity scenes that I have bought over the years. Today I want to speak to you about one such nativity scene that I bought while I was visiting in Israel. It was the third day in and around Jerusalem, and our itinerary had us crossing the Palestinian border into the region around Bethlehem. In particular, we were going to see the Church of the Holy Nativity, and then we were going to follow and go to the place where the shepherds were watching over their flocks by night. Now, the structure of this nativity scene of the stable is made from olive wood from the region, and the people and the animals are made out of plaster. It's not high-end, but I will always remember the man who insisted that I purchase it. That morning, I had been looking at similar nativity scenes in a boutique that we had visited, and they were out of my price range. I wasn't willing to pay what they were asking. In the afternoon, at the end of the visit to the shepherd's fields, I was looking at and admiring the nativity scenes that they were selling, and they were being sold by poor Christian Palestinians. Our guide explained to us that people in Palestine live very humbly compared to the Israelites, but that in particular the Christians who lived in this largely Muslim area were even more disadvantaged, that they had an even harder time. And so they were there selling their nativity scenes at very reasonable prices, especially compared to the boutique that I had seen in the morning. Now, this wasn't the most elaborate, the most beautiful of the nativity scenes, but it wasn't the smallest either. And the man saw that I was liking it and that he wanted to sell it to me. I asked the price, $25 American. And he saw my reaction, and right away he said, "But I'll accept $20 for you." I explained that I didn't have enough cash on me to purchase it. Well, he would sell it to me for $15 American. Again, I explained I didn't have enough cash. Well, you can pay by credit card. Well, I wasn't comfortable giving my credit card to a stranger who was selling things on the street, so I said no. That morning, when I had left the hotel, I'd put enough money into my wallet that should have been enough to cover all of my expenses for the day. And at that point, all I had was $12 Canadian. This man followed me to the bus, and he was trying to convince me to borrow the money that I needed. And finally, he said he would accept what I had, $12 Canadian. And then when he saw the loonies, the $1 coins, he just took the bill, $10 Canadian. And I had it for a quarter of the price he was asking. That night, getting back to the hotel, I felt guilty. I regretted that I hadn't paid by card because he didn't get a fair price. My hope is in the forgiveness that this child in the manger offers me. If you have taken money from people, if you've taken goods from your neighbors, if you've gotten things in an underhanded way, turn to Christ. Help your neighbor to keep what is his. Act so that he can improve his well-being. And change the way that you deal with your money so that it would reflect what the Lord gives to you. At Christmas time, we go into these big box stores and we buy all sorts of things. Or we go onto Amazon and we order things and we just pay whatever they ask. But then we get to a little market. Things that artisans made. Oh, then we grumble. We see someone who runs a small business, who has to pay employees. Oh, we don't want to pay that much. And we complain about the price. We need to think not only about ourselves. The gospel isn't just for people who have money. It was to humble shepherds that the angels came and announced the good news. Mary and Joseph were not independently wealthy. they lived very humbly. When they went to the temple to redeem Jesus according to the requirements of the law, they offered the bare minimum. Not because they didn't want to give more, but because they couldn't. This Christmas, we need to think about this verse from the Proverbs. He who does a favor to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will return to him what is right. And again, in the letter to the Hebrews, do not forget to do good and to help one another, because these are the sacrifices in which God takes pleasure. So let's conclude with a couple verses of Martin Luther's hymn, From Heaven to Earth, from heaven above to earth I come. Welcome to earth, O noble guest, through whom the sinful world is blessed. You came to share my misery, that you might share your joy with me. Ah, Lord, though you created all, how weak and you are, so poor and small, that you should choose to lay your head where lowly cattle lately fed. Instead of soft and silken stuff, you have but hay and straw so rough, on which as king so rich and great, to be enthroned in royal state. May the Lord bless and keep you. Amen.